Good Friday morning, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dusty Sonnenberg. Well, clear skies, 60 degrees on the barn thermometer right now. It looks like a continued dry weather pattern at least through the weekend till maybe the first of next week. We have a chance at seeing some rain. A great 3-day run down at the Farm Science Review. It was good to see everyone. We heard quite a few stories about field fires while we were there, so make sure you're paying attention and stay safe. A couple quick calendar reminders. Powered by Soy Biodiesel, Dale will be at the Ashland County Fair today, and the Axis Seed County Fair Tour takes us to Ashland County. They'll once again be doing a junior fair check presentation, and a reminder that Grow Next Gen brings agriculture science to the classroom. Learn more at grownextgen.org. Visiting today with Rusty Goebel. Rusty is president of the Ohio Soybean Association. Rusty, we are at Farm Science Review. A lot of things going on, a lot of folks to talk to, but depending on where you're at in the state, harvest going on as well. And you shared with me you ran a few beans earlier in the week.
Yeah, we actually started a little bit on Friday. We had an early variety. We wanted to going to plant some wheat. It's pretty dry out there. I'm not sure how quick we're going to plant the wheat, but had some was planted early. They hung in there pretty good for not having much of any rain. And we started again this week here. We probably have another 100 acres or so that's ready. Early variety, all going to wheat, so we can pump our lagoon on it and haul some cattle on it.
Very good. Well, Ohio Soybean Association, the membership organization here in the state that does a lot of legislative work and policy work on behalf of Ohio's soybean farmers. What are some of the hot issues you guys are really discussing right now? Yeah,
one of the things that we're promoting the Z45, the renewable fuels. To back that up, what I'm really wanting everybody to know is we'd like to have as many members to join, soybean producers join to be a member of the association. It lets some of us go to D.C. or the State House, whichever one, and just kind of tell our story on what we're trying to do out there. The price of beans, we need to keep promoting them in any way we can, and if it's renewable fuels, crayons for your grandkids or kids, there's just so many uses that we're learning now that we're just trying to promote that with. You go into D.C. and there's just so many people are so far removed from being on the farm. Grandpa might have been a farmer, but we just need to rattle chains down there in D.C. and Columbus to tell our story and what the farmers are doing.
What is the response typically when you visit with the legislators and some of their staffers?
I think we've always had really good response to them. They're always willing to listen. Regardless of the party, I've always felt since I've been there 6 years that they're really willing to listen. They know Ohio is, 8 or 9 jobs out of 10 are egg related, and so I've always felt that they've always been really willing to listen. Whether they go through and follow through, I'm not sure, but they're at least willing to listen and hear our story.
Real good. Again, my guest today, Rusty Goebel, president of the Ohio Soybean Association. Rusty, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Dusty.
Let's take a look at your Friday morning weather forecast as we head into the weekend, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance, online at seedconsultants.com.
Dry weather seems to be breaking just a little bit here in Ohio. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at that Ohio Ag Weather Update. We've got a frontal boundary working its way through the upper Midwest and into the Great Lakes region today. Michigan's going to pick up some decent rain. Can any of that hold together and shift down into Ohio? I'll give you a solid maybe right now. Places that I would say watch out for showers overnight tonight, northwest Ohio. And then as we head toward daybreak tomorrow morning, maybe we see a cluster of thunderstorms actually work its way down into west central or even southwestern parts of the state. It's going to be a small cluster right now, but I won't rule out some moisture there. If you don't see that, you are going to stay dry all the way through Saturday. Honestly, if you do see that, you dry down Saturday afternoon, and we stay dry for most of Sunday. Our next big weather system is brewing off to the west, and it's going to push moisture into Ohio right away Monday morning, probably pre-dawn hours, maybe back closer to midnight Sunday night, and that's going to continue through Monday through Tuesday, finally done by Tuesday overnight. Out of that, 1/4 to 1.5 inch rainfall totals coming over about 90% of Ohio. Probably seeing slightly better potential for rains in the north than the south, but we're not going to split hairs too much. Behind it, we are dry then for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Good evaporation rates. So if we see the higher end of the rain range in some areas Monday, Tuesday, I think you're probably back into the field harvesting by Thursday. Again, we're so dry, this moisture is going to soak right in or run off, one or the other, but we're not going to be seeing it push harvest out too long, especially with the good evaporation behind it. That's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this.
Hi everyone, this is Dale Minio from the Ohio AgNet. For a quarter of a century, I powered my truck with biodiesel, traveling the state promoting agriculture. Biodiesel is a reliable, high-performance fuel that works in any diesel engine without modification. The best part is that with every mile driven, I'm fueling the economy, doing good for the environment, and supporting soybean farmers. Learn how using biodiesel can add value to every bushel of soybeans grown at soyohio.org.
I'm visiting today with Peyton Vest. He is with the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund. He's a field program representative. Peyton, let's start at the beginning maybe. Take us back. Where did Soil and Water Outcomes Fund first begin?
Yeah, so it started back in Iowa. Like we talked before, we're a subsidiary of the Iowa Soybean Association. Started in 2019 as a 9,000 acre pilot project, and we were lucky enough to receive a Climate Smart grant, and now we've been able to grow across 18 states. I think that's what we're at now. Ohio, it's been around for a year or two. I'm the first representative to be actually stationed in Ohio and covering Ohio and Michigan.
Okay. With the growth, has it been primarily in maybe one part of the state or other? Is it pretty general across Ohio and as you get up north into Michigan?
We're seeing a lot of growth there in that northwestern corner of the state, across really the kind of the whole northern side of the state. We've got the northeast corner shut off for enrollment right now. It's just doesn't work with our purchase templates and our partners programs. So really that northwestern corner all the way south is open.
Tell me a little bit more. So for a farmer that they've maybe seen the stuff online or heard the commercials for it, how exactly does the program work? What is it that Soil and Water Outcomes Fund is looking for, and what is it that a farmer gets out of it?
Yeah, so we're looking for new or additional practices to be used. So whether that's switching up tillage, going from a conventional to a minimal or minimal to no-till, adding that cover crop, adding manure, just any sort of additionality or a new practice. And then we go through and we model that. We look at a 4-year baseline and a 2-year future. We go through, model that, comes back, and they get the average payment of that model.
Is it based any on soil type or watersheds or geographically like that, or are the practices stacked, or is it just if you're in and doing practices, this is a base, and if you're not, then obviously not?
Yeah, so we look at soil type, geography. There's 3 models. There's a lot of things that go into that, but geography, soil type are your 2 main, really big ones, and plus your baseline. That's why we collect that data so it can run that too.
How far back with the baseline do you guys look as far as when it comes to quote unquote this is a new practice versus something?
Yeah,
that I've
so
been doing?
we look back at a 4-year baseline.
Okay.
Like I said, we go back 4 years. So if you enrolled this year, we'd go back to 2021 because technically we're enrolling for the 2025 cover crop year.
Gotcha.
And then we would look at a 25 and 26 coming years.
In Ohio, what seems to be the most common practice that guys are adopting or practices that you see guys adding?
I see a lot of guys adding cover crops.
Okay.
Whether that's sparingly or across their entire farm.
For cover crops, is it simply a single species acceptable? Does it have to be a mix? Does it depend on the situation? Or I guess I'm going to take that one step further. If I've been cover cropping and just generically say, I've been doing cereal rye.
Yep.
But now I want to go to a mix or I want to go to multi-species. Is that still cover crops as cover crops, or is that considered different?
So we look at it as a overwintering versus a winter kill cover crop species. So you can plant just about anything. If you have a mix that you want to plant, we can for sure enter that mix. But we see a lot of that mixes. I see a lot of just plain cereal rye or using winter wheat as a cover as well.
And how does this align with, or does it have to be completely independent from folks that are participating in the H2 Ohio program or possibly other programs?
Right. So if you are in the H2 Ohio program and you're already adding those practices, unless it's your first year in the program, we really can't get you enrolled unless there's an additional practice. But if you're thinking about getting into the H2 Ohio program, we can stack.
Okay.
We can stack with H2, so that's why we've seen that growth there in the northwestern part of the state, just because it's not necessarily so new up there.
Absolutely. Length of contract. Sometimes folks are a little bit leery. If I sign up, how long am I tied into this? How does that work?
Yeah, so we are a one-year contract. We decided to do year-by-year contracts instead of a long-term contract.
And so a farmer to enroll, is it something they have to apply, come out and be inspected first, or how's that what's the process look like if somebody decides this is something I'd like to learn more about and participate in?
Yeah, so they can go to our website. It's www.theoutcomesfund.com. They go in, there's a button right there on the home screen that says request a free estimate. They go through, fill out some just general information about themselves, email, phone number, things like that. I'll usually give them a call within a day after they sign up, and then kind of goes from there. Usually we can either do it over the phone or I can drive up and meet with them. I kind of like the person-to-person communication versus the over the phone or things like that, just because I want to be able to get to know the farmer that's going to be in the program on a personal level.
From an organizational standpoint, where is the goals going forward in the future? Continue growing across more states, continue growing obviously more acres. What are the thoughts there?
Yeah, so we're looking to grow more acres every year. Our goals from our partners keep getting larger, so we're looking to expand even more next year.
So you've got a federal grant, you've got some big name partners. Other partners coming on board as time goes on too within that?
Yeah, there are new partners coming in. It seems like almost every week, so we're getting an update on that.
Good deal. Again, my guest today is Peyton Vest. He is a field program representative with Soil and Water Outcomes Fund, giving us some of the ins and outs about the program, how it works. And again, Peyton, one more time, that website.
It's www.theoutcomesfund.com.
Again, my guest today, Peyton Vest. Stay tuned. We'll be back to take a look at your markets after this.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
It's time now for your Thursday morning Louis Dreyfus grain analysis, brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff. Let's check in with Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished mixed to mostly lower yesterday. Reasons, well, we didn't really have a lot of new and good information yesterday. Weekly export sales report was one that we were waiting for. Corn export sales were viewed as disappointing. We just couldn't get any traction on corn through the entire day. Several pundits pointed out, look, corn wasn't that far off from its normal weekly totals for this particular week, but still, it was viewed as disappointing. Soybeans, strong sales overall, but what was interesting is we haven't seen any flash reported sales in a few days, and we have heard rumors of sales being done. So when are those going to be fleshed out? I don't think what was on the weekly export sales report this week was what the rumors were covering. Maybe that happens next week. Time will tell. Weather is a big story. Harvest is underway. Very, very, very dry stuff coming out in the Eastern Corn Belt, but Eastern Corn Belt also picking up some rain, finishing out the weekend and going through next week. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Let's take a look at how those markets closed, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance, online at seedconsultants.com. December corn was down 7 cents a bushel at 406 3/4, while May corn was down 6 1/4 at 435 1/4 cent. November soybeans closed down 3/4 of a penny at 1013 1/4, and March beans were down a half a penny at 1045 1/4 cent. And Kansas City wheat closed down 14 cents at 565 1/2, while December Chicago Chicago wheat was down 10 1/4 at 5.66 1/2 cents. Taking a quick look at your overnight trade, December corn is up 3/4 penny at $4.06 1/2 cents. November soybeans are up 3 cents at 10.16 1/4, and wheat for December is up 6 3/4 at $5.72 1/4 cents. Live cattle, lean hogs, and feeder cattle all closed Thursday higher. This is the Ohio AgNet.